We've been working on this project since April of 2008. Prior to that, we were working on a few experiments, and in between that time period, we had some people at Retro leave, and it left an opportunity for us to refocus and decide whether or not we wanted to continue on these experiments or look at something new. And at the same time, Tanabe-san and Miyamoto-san were discussing reviving DKC. And it was just kind of a convergence of two issues, and Tanabe-san asked us if it was something that we'd be interested in, and it certainly was. We couldn't say yes fast enough, so that's how we started the project.
You know, thinking back on the first Donkey Kong Country for the Super Nintendo, one of the things I think left a really strong impression in people's minds were the graphics. They really, you know, they were something new at the time. They were something that had a lot of impact, and we wanted to make sure that the visuals of Donkey Kong Country Returns on the Wii had similar impact. So that's one of the reasons we chose to turn to Retro for this game, as we knew that they would be able to do the series justice on that front. Another thing that we tried to bring over was the music. Now the music we've tried to keep more or less intact. There's a lot of really memorable tunes from the original Donkey Kong Country games, and we've wanted to make sure those melodies are preserved here in this newest iteration of the series. Additionally, we paid a lot of attention to the feel of the controls, the sort of weight and heft of things, and made sure that it was consistent with the experiences that the player had had in the series thus far.
We really want to reward as wide a range of players as possible. For those who love to explore and experiment to unlock new things, we've got tons of that in the game. But we also provided us a game mode that will allow players and reward them for just blowing through a level as fast as they possibly can for a perfect run. We're really focusing on small environmental interactions that people might think would be inconsequential, but create these major events that pop up out of nowhere to really surprise the player. I think they'll have a lot of fun searching for these little details that can provide that kind of enjoyment.
This time around, when looking at sort of the whole play element of hidden items in the game, we tried to make some of Donkey Kong's actions, particularly his blow action, the kind of animation that he has when he breathes out, and use that as sort of a method for exploration to help unearth items and that sort of thing. Additionally, there's the ground pound action that Donkey Kong can do when he sort of beats the ground with his hands. And these two actions will be used to sort of unearth different hidden elements in the game and sort of let you explore your environment. Yeah, as far as Jungle Beat's concerned, you know, the one thing that we did kind of pull from there is the sort of physical action of beating the ground, the sort of satisfying action that Donkey Kong had of ground pounding. So I thought, you know, I guess I'll just pull that over and use it in the game, in Donkey Kong Country Returns as well. But other than that, I've really not tried to focus too much on pulling things out of old Donkey Kong Country and Donkey Kong series games. Except for maybe just the feel of the controls from previous iterations of the series.
We took a look at the whole franchise. It was an homage, certainly, to Donkey Kong Country. But for the first couple weeks when we first started the project, we played religiously every single DK game. And that was really our motivation and our influence. So we didn't take little pieces out of every DK title. It was just more of making sure that we had the feeling right, the control right, and that we didn't disappoint the fans when it came to expanding on a new and better DKC.
It's hard enough to make a really satisfying one-player scrolling action game, and when you make that game a two-player simultaneous play game, making a satisfying experience becomes that much harder. It's a very high hurdle that you have to clear then. Talking with Retro and thinking about the previous games that had come out in recent years, we really wanted to do something to make this game special and stand out, and decided that we were definitely going to go ahead with simultaneous two-player play. After doing that, after making that decision, one of the first difficulties we faced is we needed to really think about, well, sure, it was great when two people of similar skill levels were playing the game together. They could really match up with one another. But what happens when there's a discrepancy in the skill level of the two players who are playing? And that's where we came up with a system to sort of balance that out, where Diddy can jump on Donkey Kong's back, which does a couple things. First, the player who's playing Diddy, their experience becomes slightly more passive. They depend on Donkey Kong to navigate the level, meaning the less skilled player can sort of just hop onto Donkey Kong's back and let him do the brunt of the work. At the same time, Diddy's jetpack, which is now on top of Donkey Kong with Diddy, allows the Donkey Kong player to have more maneuverability via that jetpack, allowing the player to clear some more difficult jumps more easily. So this is something that we actually talked about fairly early on with Miyamoto-san. And we were really, we're getting together and like, well, what are we going to do about King K. Rool? Is he coming back? And we thought about it and we said, well, does he really need to? Why don't we just come up with something completely new? And this time, make sure there are no crocodiles in there. And so I asked Retro to come up with some fresh new ideas, and that's when they came up with this new enemy concept of the Tiki, who become sort of the central enemies in this game.
The tikis in the early demonstration levels, there's several different types, some flying, some walking, some big, some small, and they play an increasingly pivotal role as the game progresses, up until the very final boss, which we don't want to give away too much, but I think...
It's not a crocodile.
It's not a crocodile. But these little guys have been running around stealing DK's bananas, and he can't have that, so... that's kind of the storyline in a nutshell right there. It's the silhouette levels, and there were a few of them scattered throughout the game. They really started as just an experiment by one of our artists, just to do something that looks cool. And after taking a look at it internally, we also found that there were some gameplay mechanics that could emerge from that that were pretty compelling. If it was just pretty visuals by itself without gameplay to underpin it, we wouldn't have gone with it. But after some experimentation, we showed it to some of the higher-ups, and even Mr. Owada himself saw it and really liked it. And this was very early, and so we decided, yeah, we're onto something here. Let's iterate on it a bit. So yeah, we're really happy with how it turned out. It looks cool, and the additional gameplay possibilities that it opens up will, I think, really intrigue players.
Being Donkey Kong fans ourselves, we are very, very passionate about keeping true to the franchise and pleasing the fans. We're having a great time making this game, and I think it's reflected in the game quality itself. So we're hoping the fans like it. We made it for them, and if you're a Donkey Kong fan, you won't be disappointed.